I love these videos because I get to open bottles of whiskey that I bought quite a long time ago. As you can see, this one, come on, focus, was delivered to me on the 3rd of March, and I just haven't had the time to open it just yet. So let's get into it. It's a massive box really for a bottle. It's much bigger. Well, there's my water bottle, for instance. It's a massive box. So what is it that we're going to have in here? Let's crack into this and see where we go. Right, it's pretty well protected. I have taken sort of like the security strap off this before we did this. Aha. Bubble wrap. Loads and loads of bubble wrap. What have we got here first of all? There we are. Invoice. Don't need that just yet. Come on. Ooh. Boom. There we go. Is it a bottle of Veuve Clicquot? No. It is Macbeth. Act 1. 19-year-old whiskey distilled at the Ardbeg distillery. Let's get into this. But like, look at the box. It's absolutely gorgeous. That colour is fantastic. It's massively oversized. Compare that to sort of like a bottle of whiskey size here. You can see just how big it is. But let's have a look then. So, bottles in here. More bubble wrap. Very nicely packaged, isn't it? And you know what? This is really nicely presented. So let's take a look at it then. So what is it? The first thing, obviously, it's the Macbeth series that's been released by Elixir Distillers and a company called Livingstone. The box itself, massive, bright orange, really nice. What does it say on here? We've got distilled at an Islay distillery, aged 19 years old. It's Ardbeg. There's a limited edition number one, or limited edition of 1800 bottles, and there's an act from Act 1, Scene 3, Line 8 from William Shakespeare, The First Witch. But in a sieve, I won't read Shakespeare, I'll just read it. But there it is, it's fantastic. And as you can see, this is The First Witch, which is one of 4 whiskies in the Witches series. There are 42 whiskies in 6 series within the Macbeth collection. So on the front again, does anybody know who has made this illustration? Because this is an illustration by one of my favourite illustrators, Quentin Blake. Inside, that's pretty nice presentation, isn't it? Inside, we've got some more extracts from Macbeth, and then we've got one of these nice pull tabs, and then we've got the bottle itself, which, you know what, is absolutely gorgeous. It really is a nice looking bottle, this. Sort of like laid paper, nice textured paper. Everything about it is really, really nice. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. And even so much as this inside insert in here, it's got a little magnet to secure the little strap. And that little strap isn't that little poxy piece of crap that you get in folio boxes that just makes you feel like it's going to break every time you do it. It's a really nice, well thought out bottle, but there's so much more to this, which is why I bought it and why I want to show it to you. Now, I've already said it's a collaboration between Elixir Distillery and Livingstone, or Elixir Distillers and Livingstone. You probably already know of Elixir. They're a sub-brand of the Whiskey Exchange and specialty drinks, and you're probably going to know them best for their Carazao Geisha series. So you know we're in good territory when you're working with people that have been working on production, on the production behind the Geisha series and things like that. But Livingstone are kind of like what? I've never heard of Livingstone, but I have, but I didn't know their name. So Livingstone is owned by Alexis Livingston Burgess, who also, I'm assuming, owns the Burgess Studio. Have you heard of them? No, I hadn't either. Have you heard of any of these bottles? The Bowmore Arc 52, the Glenfiddich 50s, and the Bowmore Onyx. I mean, yeah, these are sensational modern pieces of design that have been released to the market in the last couple of years. So this is a sensational design studio in London that have teamed up with a sensational whiskey independent bottler and brought these to the market. And obviously, if you think about the Carazao Geisha series and you think of the Bowmore Arc 52 and the Bowmore Onyx, these guys do premium really well. And this wasn't a premium price. This was only, it wasn't a premium price, it was £550. Those of you who hate us talking about expensive whiskies and saying £550 is cheap, get in the comments now, but it's all about context. In the current market, £550 doesn't buy you a lot of whiskey. Again, look at watch channels, 550 quid will get you a half decent G-Shock or something, but in the scheme of watches, there's hundreds and thousands of premium watches out there that are going to cost tens and hundreds of thousands, if not millions. If you want to talk about cheap drinking whiskey, there are lots of other channels about it. If you want to talk about or listen to the premium side of the market and other factors that move the market, then this is the channel for you. So make sure if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Now, there are a few reasons why I bought this. First of all, I absolutely love the concept. It's a 42 bottle series. It's going to go through all or a lot of the main characters in Macbeth, and sort of like, you know, for those of you who are watching that don't know what Macbeth is, or Macbeth, it's a Shakespeare play. Summarize it in 5 words. Thank you, ChatGPT. Ambition, murder, guilt, tyranny, and downfall. Well, that's about as much as we need to go into. But the illustrations, the thing that really caught my eye to this was the illustrations. You know, the illustrations are by Quentin Blake. And Quentin Blake is one of my favourite artists or illustrators, and it mostly comes back to my childhood. And any of you watching this who read Roald Dahl books by your family when you were younger, you'll instantly recognise him from the Twits, the Witches, all sorts. And he's just got a beautiful sort of a linear style. Anyway, this is from the first act, and there's going to be quite a few acts going forward through the years. The top release was a 56-year-old Glen Grant, which represented King Duncan, which sold originally for £10,000 a bottle and is now sold out. At the very bottom end of the range, there was a 10-year-old Blair Athol for the Bloody Sergeant, which retailed at only £95. So there's a huge spread of bottles and prices within there. Now, there's also like a bigger overarching theme in terms of you're going to have the leads. There'll be 5 Regal malts, which I assume are going to be the very ultra premium releases. You've got the Thanes, so there'll be 12 Noble malts, whatever that means. The Ghosts are going to be represented by 6 Ghost distilleries. So this sounds cool, doesn't it? Because we're going to see some closed distilleries whiskies coming through into these series. The Witches, there's going to be 3 malts and a blend. This is the first one of the Witches, and this is a 19-year-old single malt whiskey from the Ardbeg distillery. You've got the Murderers, where there'll be 4 island malts, and then you've got the Household, which will be 4 characterful whiskies, as in whiskies from distilleries that are on the rise and up and coming, exactly like Blair Athol. Now, this one was £550. It's an edition of 1,800 bottles, and you know what? Even after release, it's still available at the Whisky Exchange. We'll put a link in the comments below if you want to go and buy one. And I think they really are fantastic. I mean, like, why did I buy it? Well, first of all, I'm going to buy all 4 of the Witches for my son, and it's going to go in his collection. Because I think when these are all going to be lined up next to each other, they're going to make a really bold, fantastic impression and look nice. Yes, I buy a lot of bottles of whiskey because of how they look and how well presented they are. I do enjoy drinking whiskey, but I also appreciate all the design work that's gone into this. And come on, stop being so naive and to say that whiskey is just for drinking. If whiskey is just for drinking, why do you team up with Quentin Blake? Why do you team up with a massive luxury design studio? And why do you bottle incredible whiskies in incredible packaging? The industry wants to appeal to collectors. The industry wants to appeal to people who want to do other things than just open the bottle and drink it. If this was just a case of getting your whiskey sold to drink, it would go in an unlabelled or very minimally labelled bottle and be sold at a bargain. The reality of it is people want to make a profit. So people do more packaging and make it and increase and add value to these products. And that is why you end up with an amazing release like this for £550. Now, I didn't buy the cheaper ones. There's a Blair Athol there for £95, and we'll put that on the screen now, but it only comes in a standard cardboard box, much like any other release that you would see. The bottles between £550 to £750 though come in this nice presentation case, which looks really fantastic, and it kind of adds a decent amount of presence to the bottle. It really does. The King bottle was in a massive presentation case, which we'll stick on screen for you now, that was £10,000 and it is already sold out, so you can't go and get those. There's loads of these Ardbegs still available, I think. They've been available since March, and I would just say go and get one if you can. Likewise, there's also another bottle in there that's from the Ghost series, which is £299 a bottle, but that's a 31-year canvas grain, I think, which again, I'm pretty sure as the series goes on, we're going to see hopefully some ultra premium releases of whiskey in that Ghost series. I'm going to stick to the Witches. That's where I've staked my sort of like post in this, but I think, you know, any bottles from the series, as long as you're going to follow them through and buy all the full set, are going to be a great buy and in the long term. Now, there's one thing that's made me sort of really amazed about this bottle. This one in particular, there's been none in auction. Like, you know, okay, yes, they're still available at retail, but when the hell does that ever stop anyone? Look at the Glenfarclas 35s, 30s and 40s. People are buying them at retail and putting them in auction going, I'm going to beat the system. These have kind of snuck under the radar. I don't want you to go and buy this and stick it in an auction. Don't be that foolish, people. Buy it because it's a bloody amazing piece of design, looks fantastic, and with Chiltern and Secunda and everybody involved at Elixir and specialty drinks and everything, the whiskey's going to be absolutely awesome too. So buy them because you appreciate them. Buy them because you want to drink them. Maybe buy it because when your son's 18, you can start drinking them with him. You know, there's so much more than just sort of buying and flipping. But this one is going to go pride of place in my collection, and I think it's an absolute steal.